Hello, hope you're doing well. This is I'm recording this on Saturday. This is April the 3rd, 2021, and this is that in between day between Good Friday and Easter. The Christian faith is shrouded in a lot of mystery, silence on this particular day. And so maybe I need to take my cue and not have a prolonged statement today. But I did want to give you a shout out, especially the ministerial team and our pastors who will be doing the heavy lifting tomorrow, preaching an Easter message. And it is a privilege to do that. But there's also that unique responsibility of preaching a sermon that everybody knows what you're going to preach tomorrow. The one question that will not be asked by your people tomorrow on the way to church is, I wonder what the preacher is going to preach on today. Everybody pretty much knows. And that is the strength of tomorrow. And I do want to highlight something for you to think about post Easter. Of course, we want to get Easter out of the way. And so I think my only advice to you about Easter is not to overcomplicate it. Everybody knows what you're going to talk about. And if they're young, it's going to be exciting. He is risen. Yes, he is risen indeed. But the older your congregation gets, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be complicated. The more graves that are in people's lives, the more times they have stood at the graveside of people that they love. And there's that journey, that winnowing out. First our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and then our parents, and then one day it's our turn. And there's this relentless, remorseless journey that all human beings make. And so they never get tired of, I never get tired of hearing about the Easter resurrection story. So my advice to you is not to overcomplicate it. It'll mean different things or have a different level of intensity for your people, but every one of them will want to hear one more time that because he lives, we can face tomorrow, and we can live forever as well when we put our faith and trust in him. So anyway, don't overcomplicate it. But let me give you one little thought that I'd like to leave with you today. On this day, I was sharing this or thinking of this in my devotions earlier this morning, and I'd written in my prayer journal that on this day, Friday, April the 3rd, in AD 33 at 3 p.m. is very good evidence that is the specific day and the specific time that Jesus actually died. So on this day, Jerusalem time, which I looked it up a moment ago when I'm recording this, it's already 7:10 p.m. over there. And so it's already in the evening. Jesus would have already been laid in the tomb by now. But at 3 o'clock in Jerusalem today, 1,988 years ago, Jesus gave his life for you and me, for the sins of the world. And that's the beauty of Good Friday, the Palm Sunday, Easter, the whole Lent season in some ways. That is the beauty of it. Tomorrow, when you get up, preachers for the 1,988th time will share the same message. He is risen. Yes, he is risen indeed. And I think that is worth noting, that the more of those kind of Sundays that you have, the more Sundays that have a lot of equity in them with your people, the easier your job will be. You see, there's a temptation when every Sunday, when I was growing up, and it's still the mindset in a lot of situations, is that, we want to have a great Sunday. And every Sunday we try to, you get on this diminishing return kind of thing, that every Sunday has to be better than last Sunday and better than last Sunday. And we're always judging, and we're looking back to that great Sunday, and, we just don't have church like we used to, or remember that great revival, or remember that great service, or that great sermon. And, we're not having those kind of services now, or this service wasn't good as last service, or your sermon wasn't as good as last Sunday, and on and on it goes. But when you begin to develop a rhythm in your church. And it doesn't have to be maybe traditional holy days like Easter or Palm Sunday or Pentecost Sunday, or you have the 4 Advent Sundays, and those are full. They're pregnant with history that every time you have a service and observe one of those, you get to benefit from all the other. Your people have all the memories in their own life. But I would encourage you to not only use those sacred days and really capitalize on them, just like Easter. Every Easter in your listener's life is a part of tomorrow. They're going to remember services. They're going to remember family gatherings. They're going to remember Easter egg hunts. They're going to remember their children's first little dress or little boy's outfit. They're going to have so many memories that they bring with them to church. And so you don't have to worry so much about topping last Sunday or getting better and better or gooder and gooder. But you have all the capital. Like tomorrow, you have 1,988 Easters that go into tomorrow. And so, I encourage you to take a look at that throughout your year, your church year. You can celebrate every year, celebrate the anniversary of your church. When you honor your people's past, when you honor their heritage, then they are much more prone and much more willing to go with you into a new future when we remember the past. And you have all that equity with your people, and the new people get to hear the history. They begin to buy in. Maybe in the summer when it's about time for school, you have that annual back to school celebration. You have your VBS, Vacation Bible School Sunday. You let them know that on the 5th Sunday of every month, of every quarter, when we have that 5th Sunday, we're going to have a special, maybe that's your baptism Sunday, or you have communion Sunday, and you begin to look for reasons to have special days that you do every year. And every new year, you bring in all the equity of all the other previous years, and it's just so much easier to have a big day. You're not topping. Every Sunday is not a one-op. It's not a standalone Sunday, but there's some continuity to the past. And we as human beings, we need that. We need that continuity. We need a rhythm. And in a lot of the Protestant churches, we've done away with call it liturgy or whatever you want to call it, but we've frowned upon that. But there's nothing wrong with liturgy. It's when you worship the liturgy instead of worshiping the meaning and the God behind the liturgy. And so I would encourage you to begin to develop, just like Easter has almost 2,000 years of rich culture. Your members, they remember, if they're new in the Lord, that they remember their first Easter. If they're serving the Lord for many years, they remember all those Easters that come in together, and you have all that equity. Well, I encourage you to do the same. Your people need rhythm. They need it. They feel like there's a purpose behind every Sunday. It's not just, I wonder what the preacher's going to talk about, or I wonder where we're going, but you've got a rhythm and you got all that equity. And so it's just something to think about. Well, enough of that. We can talk about that a later day. I have a lot of thoughts on that I've put into practice, and I saw it to be very effective as I provided my people some continuity from year to year, and precious memories and all the equity that goes into it. And then when you do have those standalone services, they stand alone more clearly and succinctly. And so anyway, but I pray that you have a great day tomorrow. This year, a year ago on Easter, every church in America was closed, as far as I know. And just like that, our nation was shut down. It's been an interesting, challenging, disconcerting 12 months. I think tomorrow people are going to be hungry. They're going to want to hear the Easter message. There's going to be some new people there that need something. Give them hope. Tell them that we've been preaching this message for 1,988 years. And one day Jesus is coming back. Just as he rose, he's coming back. And there's hope for today, and there's hope for tomorrow. And so I'm going to close with this little Easter story of mine. This is a true story. This is in my days of pastoring in Easley, South Carolina. And there was a precious little lady. Her name was Sister Browning, and one of the precious members of that church. And she was a widow, and she was literally grieving herself to death. And she had given up on life. There was nothing. She was an elderly lady, but there was nothing life threatening. But she was literally giving up on life, and she was in the hospital in intensive care, and the doctors had announced or pronounced that there was nothing else they could do, and that her death was imminent. And so it was Easter Sunday morning, and I went to the hospital that morning on my way to church. I left a little early, and I loved Sister Browning and wanted to go by and see her on Easter Sunday. I walked into that room, and she was very weak and very frail. And I reached over, I took her by the hand, and what do you say? And the song, Because He Lives, came to my mind. And so I began to sing with her. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know. Anyway, I won't torture you with singing. But I began to sing, and she began to sing with me. And we felt the sweet presence of the Holy Spirit came into that room that morning, on that Easter Sunday morning. And anyway, long story short, that day there was a turn. And within a couple of days, she was back home and lived for many, many more years. And she accounts that when they begin to sing, when we begin to sing, because I know He lives, I can face tomorrow. And it gave her hope. And she got up, and spunky little lady. I could tell you some other great stories about her. But it was on that Easter Sunday. It wasn't my singing. It's not going to be your preaching. It's going to be the message of hope that gives people the hope and the strength to live on another day. And so give them hope tomorrow. You don't have to get fancy. Just like that old song by Bill Gaither, that many years old by now. But they don't need a new song. They don't need a new message. They need to hear the same message that's been preached for 1,988 years. Let's preach it one more time, brethren, sisters. Let's be faithful. One day you'll preach your last one. And when you do, have no regrets. Just tell them one more time about the empty tomb. God bless you. Love you, and look forward to seeing you soon in our camp meetings that are coming up, and hopefully coming around the bend of your church one day and be able to break bread together and celebrate together. But love you now. God bless. Bye-bye.